lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm excited for this video because I'm going to be testing out the lightest shade of the Woke Up Like This Flawless Base Foundation from Makiage. This is just what it looks like. It comes in a nice little glass frosted bottle. It does have a pump and it has a nice bit of weight to it, so the packaging is super nice. But I was really excited to try this foundation because they have an amazing shade range, and I'm always here for a foundation that has a great shade range. So I was very excited to test this out. I did want to mention really quickly before I do the rundown on the foundation that this was sent to me through Octoly, so I did not pay for it myself, but this is my honest opinion as always. So let's just go ahead and jump right on in on all the details of the foundation. So it is definitely a high-end foundation. It is $47, so it's definitely up there in price. And like I said, they have an amazing shade range. They have 50 shades. And when you go on the website, you can actually go through and they have a category, they have everything, like all the shades. They have like medium, neutral, medium, yellow, tan pink, tan neutral. So they have descriptions of every shade, and they also have swatches of all the shades on the different skin tones. You could see a little picture there, so I think that the website is pretty helpful. The only thing I would say, being super fair, is that they have a lot of shades described as light, and because I have tested the foundation now and seen how light the fairest shade is, I would definitely recommend for them to go ahead and change that to fair, because I think like if I was going on the website and I was trying to decide like should I buy this foundation or not, and I see the lightest shade described as just light instead of fair, I think it would hold me back from buying the foundation. So it does have 1 fluid ounce of product, which is pretty much the average for all liquid foundations. And it does say that it has a lightweight texture, buildable medium to high coverage, natural matte finish, optically corrective powders, enriches with vitamin E for anti-aging benefits, hyaluronic acid for hydration, protecting and filling wrinkles. And it says that it is 100% cruelty-free, which I only buy cruelty-free makeup, and that's what I try to only use, although I do have things from my collection from before I went cruelty-free, but I try to keep it for the most part cruelty-free, so I appreciate that. So really quickly, just so you guys can have a shade reference, I'm going to go ahead and swatch this foundation in comparison with a few other shades that I have. So here is the Makiage Woke Up Like This foundation in shade 005. Next to that is the Fenty Beauty foundation in the shade 100. This is the Born This Way foundation in the shade Cloud. And this is the Makeup Forever HD Stick foundation in the shade Y205. It does look like the Makiage one oxidizes just a bit, because when I originally swatched it next to the Fenty Beauty one, the Fenty Beauty was a little bit darker, but now they look nearly the same shade. Alright, so I think that's everything I have to say. If you want to see how the foundation applies and wears throughout the day, then just keep watching. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump on into application. As always, I'm going to be using my Glossier Priming Moisturizer Rich as my primer. Just looks like this, just like a thick, hydrating primer slash moisturizer, and I love it. My skin is breaking out because I think the Tutti Frutti foundation, the Do You from Too Faced, I think it broke me out, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna have to end up returning it. So we'll definitely be able to test the coverage of the foundation today. I've got so many bumps everywhere, it's ridiculous. So as always, I'm going to do a brush on one half of my face and a sponge on the other. The brush that I'm going to be using today is the Real Technique sculpting brush. I was sent this through Octoly, and it's my go-to foundation brush right now. I cannot get enough of it, so it's what I'm going to be using. And then on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and use the Makiage sponge, or they call it the blender. And I can tell you guys right now that from wetting it, I mean, it got softer, but it's still a pretty like firm sponge. And the price of this is $22, and I just don't feel like it's worth it. Like for like the texture, I know what I like in a sponge, and I would not recommend this sponge, but I am going to be using it with the foundation today since it's from the same brand, and I may as well test it out. It does have a nice like point, so I feel like it'd be really good for getting in there for concealer, and I'll probably use it for powder in the future because I don't care about the softness when it comes to like using powder underneath my eyes. But I feel like, I don't know, it's very, very firm for a $22 sponge. Alright, so let's just go ahead and start applying the foundation. I feel like it's gonna be too light for me, but we're gonna give it a go. It's got a little pump, and I'm gonna start off with like one full pump whenever it decides to come out.
Three hours later.
There we go. Just gonna go ahead and start applying this. Alright, so there's how it's looking on half my face, and I did use a pump and a half about, and it's pretty much all gone. It did go pretty quickly, and I would say it looks like, I would say medium coverage, which they say it's medium to buildable, so I might go ahead and do another layer after I finish the sponge side. I can still see freckles peeking through. I can still see a little bit of redness. Like, I'm definitely going to need to go in with a concealer on my acne. Overall, the finish is very soft. It looks very natural. It doesn't look like it's mattifying my skin, but it doesn't really look super dewy either. It honestly kind of just looks like my skin. Like, it's not like super thick or heavy or anything. And I'm gonna go in with the sponge. I hate that when sponges are more firm, they like are louder. I don't like this sponge. It feels like I'm beating my face. Alright, so I used a pump and a half again, and I barely covered my face with the sponge. I feel like it soaked up the product really easily, and there's definitely less coverage. I'm going to go ahead and do a second layer, and I'm just going to use the brush. Just in like the areas where I get a little bit more redness. And see if we can get this medium coverage to full. So I guess I would call it like maybe like a higher medium coverage, but I still wouldn't call it completely full. And the texture definitely changes a little bit when you do a second layer. I think it looks a little bit more thick. Like, it doesn't look as natural as it did with the first layer. Like, you can tell that I'm wearing foundation now, like, for sure. But it really didn't cover that much more. So if I wore this again in the future, I would just wear it one layer. So as far as the shade goes, I think it is maybe one shade too light for me. My ring light does make my face look a little bit lighter. If you think I look ghostly, that's why. But in person, it honestly doesn't look bad. And once I throw a little bit of bronzer on, it'll definitely be fine to go about the day. Like, it's not going to look funny or anything. They did shade match me to shade 20, and I decided to go ahead and get the lightest one instead, just because I figured I could see how light it was, and if it was too light I could mix it. And I think that shade 20, after trying the lightest shade, would definitely be too dark for me. But I do like the shade. I feel like comparing like my face going down to my neck, it looks natural, and there's like no line or anything, and it just kind of fades. So I'm not mad at it. So really quickly, let's just check the time. It is 1:28, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my makeup, and I'll be right back to show you what the foundation looks like with all the other products on. Alright, so here's what the foundation looks like with everything on, and overall it looks good. It looks very soft on the skin. The coverage looks good, but I will say that it is creasing a little bit. I have smile lines like here, and it's creasing on this one, which this one is a little bit deeper for some reason, but I could still see it here a little bit. I could see it around my nose a little bit. My cupid's bow, it's creasing right here, and also it's creasing in my forehead wrinkles because I'm very expressive, and some foundations crease more there, some less. I normally expect a little bit of creasing, but normally it doesn't happen for, you know, it doesn't happen right away, so that is something to keep in mind. It does look a little bit cakey in certain places. Like I said, if I were going to use this foundation again, I would definitely only do one layer and just do like more of a medium coverage instead of building it up to full like I did today. As far as the color goes, I think that after I put bronzer on, which I did use the Ofra blush slash bronzer in format, which I got through Octoly, it just looks like this. It's a pretty warm, like deeper bronzer, so it kind of balanced out the foundation, and I think it looks really pretty. It's actually more on the shimmery side, shimmery side, the shimmery side, and I just think it looks really pretty on the skin. But if you are fair, I would definitely recommend going in with like a really big fluffy brush, nothing too dense. So I'm gonna go ahead and wear the foundation throughout the day, and I will let you guys know in 8 hours how I feel about it. Okay guys, so I just want to make this update really quick. I didn't even throw out my backlights. It is 9:45, so I've had the foundation on for over 8 hours. Gosh, today has been so crazy. I've been so productive. Lots of videos got done. I've got a crazy day tomorrow. Sunday's crazy. So just busy right now. But as soon as I finish this update, I'm watching an episode of Velvet. If you guys don't know what that is, it's on Netflix. It is in Spanish, but it's the best show, and I'm gonna eat some cookies. So I am actually extremely happy with this foundation. I'm not gonna lie, when I put it on, I was a little bit wary because it did look a little bit dry, not necessarily like super drying, but I thought like if it wears throughout the day and it gets drier, I don't think I'm gonna like it, because I've had lots of foundations that I've tried that are kind of that natural matte finish. I wear them throughout the day and then they end up being really dry by the end of the day because they're supposed to like soak up oils, and my face does not look dry at all. Like, it looks really smooth. I think that the coverage looks really great. There's still a little bit of creasing like in the areas where like I move my face a lot, which really isn't a big deal. Honestly, it looks almost the exact same as when I put it on 8 hours ago. So I'm very happy with it, and I think the color is actually perfect. Like perfect. I showed it to my mom earlier and I was in natural lighting and I pulled down my shirt a little bit. I'm like, do you think the foundation matches? And she's like, it literally looks perfect. So if you are similar to my skin tone, I would definitely recommend the shade 05. It is on the neutral. It's not super pink. It's not super yellow. I'm really glad that I got 05 because, like I said, I was shade matched for the shade 20, and I think that could have been a disaster. And honestly, I really like how the foundation wore. Like, I can definitely see this being like a go-to foundation for anytime I have a really long day when I want my foundation to last, because if you guys watch this series, you know a lot of times at the end of the day I come back and I'm like, I have less coverage or this or that, and honestly I feel like it still looks so beautiful. Like, it's crazy that it's been 8 hours. So I'm really happy with the foundation. I'm seriously impressed. Definitely gonna keep using it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and the best part is that I feel like this would be amazing for a wide range of skin types and also a wide range of skin tones. So overall, definitely recommend trying it out if you're looking for a high-end foundation. That is the one downside, is that it is pretty expensive, but if you do have a problem with a foundation getting too dry or not staying throughout the day, honestly, I really like how it looks, especially because I'm breaking out so much right now. And on my forehead, like, I'm breaking out so bad right here, and the redness is like barely coming through at all, which is great because I like to keep that covered up. So that is everything for this video. That is everything for this video. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.